Welcome, Walnut. I'm Lara, but you can call me Laz, your host for Walnut Wednesday. This is your reminder to be brave, be yourself, and know that you can make the world a better place just by what you decide today. Here, I'm going to share my weekly walnuttings with you on a Wednesday. Hello, Walnut. It is me, Laz, here for another episode of Walnut Wednesday. I want to preface this episode with I've been sitting here for about 15 minutes thinking and feeling pressured, like I've got this time set aside, I've got my camera set up, I've got this to do a recording, yet I felt like I had nothing to say. And when I get like that, I always pull a card for myself. And the card that came up was imagination. Imagination now sets me free. Divine ones, I send my thanks to thee. Walnut, this card, I feel like now is the perfect time because I'm listening to a lot of like modules and things all about manifestation and creating your own timeline and your reality and la 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 la. And so I was kind of reflecting on what's a walnutting I can sort of share this week. And as I reflected on my condition and sort of where I'm at, I feel like I'm walnutting every day in this condition. And it's something that I don't I don't I don't want to bore you with. I don't want my whole podcast to just be about pregnant things and pregnant people things. Yet I've been in situations where I'm sitting and that's all I want to talk about, and I'm triggered, and it bothers me because that's all I've got going on. And I remember I told you a little while ago, I was talking to a friend and I was like, oh, sorry to ask you so many like baby questions. And she was like, dude, this is all I'm living right now. So I want to be telling you this stuff. But yeah, I have this real like push and pull about wanting to sort of share things that might not relate to a walnut that isn't going through this condition or hasn't had this condition before. So I'm really mindful of Walnut Wednesday in that way. But walnut, I think with the whole imagination card and the whole manifestation thing, I feel like my walnutting this week is just is going on last week's episode about going with the flow and just like listening to my body and things. But I am in this weird spot where I cannot predict at all what is going to happen. And I've never been a person that sort of manifests like that. Like I've never been like, it's also my human design, but I've never been like, I want a blue house with a white picket fence, a golden Labrador, the specifics. It's more, I envision and feel a vibe, and that's what I want to manifest. So it's a little bit more trickier because it's not very specific. I've never been a person that can just say, oh, I want to be a nurse and then go and study nursing and then you have it all together. I was a person who went, oh, I enjoy photography and drama, so I'm going to go get a Bachelor of Arts in Film and Theatre in English on the side. So it's hard for me to figure out what the hell I want to do. And as I was sort of sitting here thinking, oh, I don't really have a walnutting specifically to share, I realized that is my walnutting because I'm coming into a different area of Walnut Wednesday. And with my little vampire coming along, I don't know what Walnut Wednesday is going to look like. And I'm kind of like a bit torn because does that mean that I won't do an episode every week? Does that mean that, I'm finding it so tricky to articulate myself, Walnut. And if you have any advice and any ideas, please join the Walnut Tree and like have a discussion with me. And I'm so receptive to your feedback. So full invitation to you if you've got any like wisdom. But I just think Walnut Wednesday is such a extension of myself that, I've got the woo-woo, I've got the healings, I've got the readings. I've dabbled in, snack hacks and doing these like evergreen classes that you can buy from me now. I've written a book. I've got my podcast, and then also under the Walnut Wednesday umbrella, I'm supporting somebody else. I'm a PA for a really successful author, Elliot Rose, who I love. Shout out. Celebrating some big milestones this month, actually. But I just find myself with, again, this non-specific niche. And it's hard for me to try and manifest what I want out of Walnut Wednesday, what I want out of like my journey into like having a babyhood, motherhood, into this identity change. Because even though I don't want being the vampire's mother to consume my whole of who I am, I still am going to be going through a complete physical, emotional, spiritual shift in myself. So that comes with all of the trials and tribulations as well. It's just like I think my walnutting this week is I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed with the fact that I don't have a specific niche. Therefore, I don't have a specific thing to talk about. Therefore, I haven't specifically walnutted this week. Does that make sense? And then I get stressed out because I think, but I'm meant to be sharing one walnutting a week with you every single week. But then I'm like, but now I've changed and I've grown and evolutioned into a person that just goes with the flow, and there's no sort of structure to these episodes very much anymore. And reflecting on how far I've come. So I'm in a bit of, yeah, my walnutting is the admission walnut that I feel in a bit of a bind in terms of imagining and manifesting for my future, purely because I'm in an actual literal condition and position where I don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next. Um, Anything could happen, anything positive could happen, and anything negative could happen, just anything could happen. And I suppose what the card is telling me about my imagination sort of setting me free is this is the most divine spot to be in for manifesting, because it is a anything could happen. So if anything could happen, what do I want to happen? And I'm being confronted with that question. What do I actually want? What do I actually want Walnut Wednesday to be? What do I want us to be? What do I want our conversations to be? What do I want the walnut tree to be? And that's a very scarce-sighting spot to sit with. So yeah, walnut, I guess the moral of this episode, again, a little bit short and sweet, but we're in a time, and this is not just specifically to me, this card, walnut. What are the possibilities for you? If you had the mindset today of anything could happen, what are you kind of calling in? You know, what would you like to happen? What can you manifest into your actual reality today just by having that, using that imagination, that little inner child spark that we kind of get lost in when we get caught up in the structure of the masculine day by day, 9 to 5, work feeling. If we allow ourselves that little freedom, that little moment of imagination, that little what if, I feel like you come to a place where I'm at now, which is like, well, okay, what if? But what if means I have to start thinking about, what do I want? Like on the notebook, what do you want? What do you want? Um, so yeah, I'm in a bind. I'm in a bind, but it's a scarce lighting one because it just means I don't have to, but it means to start thinking about, what do I want for Walnut Wednesday, for my reality, for my identity, for my relationship, for my home? And not try to get specifical, like it can still be really open, but yeah, it's just like, what if leading to what do I actually want? And I think we're not often confronted with that question a lot of the time. Well, I know I'm specifically not Walnut. So I'll leave it there, with that open question of if anything was possible, if anything could happen right now, what is it that you would want? And then what? And then if that happened, what would you want? And then if that happened, what would you want? And let's just ride on this little imagination train for the rest of Walnut Wednesday today. And jump in the walnut tree. Let me know what you think. But also, again, full invitation if you have any feedback for Walnut Wednesday or ideas. I'm totally here to have a conversation about it because yeah, it's still changing, but it's scarce-siding, isn't it? So we'll see. We'll see how we get on. Until next week, Walnut, have a happy Walnut Wednesday and may your imagination run a little wild today. Have a great week. Bye.